Ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce this afternoon's keynote speaker. His bio is available in the FC TechNet Indo-Pacific 23 app. Any questions for the Admiral should be texted to the email address provided on the screens to my left and to my right. Now, please join me in a very warm welcome for the Commander, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral John C. Aquilino, U.S. Navy.
Aloha. Okay, please continue to eat and enjoy this amazing meal. Thank you to the Hilton Hawaiian Village team. How about a round of applause for our servers today? Brandon, thank you for inviting me today. To your team with Cynthia, the whole FCA team, I truly appreciate being invited and allowed to participate today. My intent is to just speak for a few minutes and frame up some key points. I know my team is here and has been articulating the needs from INDOPACOM for you for the duration of the conference. But what I really do like to do is, after I speak, open the floor for questions so that I can make sure you get your questions answered in a way that's helpful for all of us. Jim and Carol, thanks for letting me have lunch with you today. It's an honor. Jim and Carol, to both of you, I'm not worthy. Thank you for your service to our nation. Miss Linda, thanks for taking care of me. Linda's been taking care of me for a while. We worked together at PAC Fleet, and I'm still learning from her. So, Linda, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tamara, the Vice Chair, thank you very much. I appreciate your support and efforts, along with Paul Friedenberg. Thank you very much again to the entire AFCEA team. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay. I was going to start by talking about a little bit about the theater, but I don't know if I have to spend too much time there. Let me say it this way. About a year and a half ago, I was articulating this geopolitical situation is the most dangerous I've seen in my life. Almost 40 years of doing this business. And then the Russians invaded Ukraine. And then Hamas attacked the Israelis, the terrorist organization. So I think I'm going to have to stop saying that because I keep getting proved wrong. But I'm here to tell you this world is dangerous. So those events are going on. But let me tell you about a couple other events that I'm watching very closely. A no-limits relationship linkage between the PRC and the Russians. The Russians being supported by the DPRK as a part of the Ukraine unlawful and illegitimate war. The linkage and support of Iran proxies against United States service members and ties to terrorist organizations around the globe. So, put that on everybody's plate, and let's understand how complex, interrelated, and dangerous this world is today. So, the Secretary tasked me when I took this job. I got a lot of missions, but let me tell you about the top two. Number one is to prevent a war in the Indo-Pacific region against, oh, by the way, 4 of our 5 identified national defense strategy security challenges. The PRC, the Russians, the DPRK, and violent extremists. All 4 of those are resident in this theater. And my team works every single day with our allies and partners to prevent conflict. That was mission 1. Mission 2, the Secretary gave me, said, Lung, if you fail at mission 1, you better be ready to fight and win. So, that's where you come in. That conversation was the start and an eloquent description of the problem. And if anybody walks into my office and gives me an eloquent description in the problem of the problem without a solution and a set of options, I throw them out of the office. So let me highlight some things on where I think we can work together for you to help me prevent conflict in the Indo-Pacific, and then ultimately to be able to fight and win if deterrence fails. Okay, first, let's talk about the integration of the joint force. Okay, in this country, we buy capabilities and service stovepipes. At INDOPACOM, we operate and deliver effects through the integration of a joint force. And I'm talking about incredible coordination. We are talking PhD level effort for my components to integrate undersea, on the sea, above the sea, in space and cyberspace in a way that no one else on the planet can do it. And that occurs in this region every day. So for the capabilities you deliver, there needs to be an understanding, a focus, and in a perfect world, at delivery, those capabilities being able to be integrated across Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, special operators, space and cyberspace operators. The world is changing. The space domain and the cyber domain are no longer this ethereal thing that nobody knows about. We say the word, but we don't understand it. My team is the best at operating it across all those domains in an integrated and completely synchronized fashion. So, point one, interoperability amongst our services to deliver joint capabilities. Okay, number two, let me expand on that. That also has to be executable with our allies and partners. One of our greatest asymmetric advantage is our relationship, our values, and our ability to operate with our allies and partners in a way that our security challengers cannot. And that looks like this: complete and total interoperability. If there's a crisis, we need to be able to come together at the point of the crisis and be able to operate together instantaneously. You can help deliver that as well. Sometimes it's with the same equipment. Other times it's not. But we still have to be interoperable. Okay, third, and when I say third, it's the third in this speech. That said, it is my number one priority. And that is to deliver and accelerate the decision superiority needed to be able to stay in front of any adversary, integrate, fight, and win. Okay, so decision superiority, not a buzzword for you. It encompasses 3 sets of capabilities that you need to help deliver to me. Dr. K, when he talks to you, and I know he's spoken to many of you, talks about it through the lens of blind, see, and kill. So, make it hard for my adversary to operate. Number 2, persistent, consistent, and persistent targeting level understanding of everything in the battle space at every second. Think click and shoot. And number 3 is to be able to link and close those kill chains with the weapons that deliver the effects. And I was in D.C. this week and talking to my combatant commander partners, and I challenged every one of them. If you don't need those 3 capabilities, sound off. That goes across the globe. So, what we've done in INDOPACOM is develop and initiate what we refer to as the Joint Mission Accelerator Directorate. That's a place to synchronize four dedicated capabilities. A joint fires network, which allows us to close those kill chains. A mission partner environment, which allows us to distribute those pictures and common intelligence picture to our allies and partners. The Pacific Multi-Domain Training Experimentation Capability. I had to read it, but it's PIMTEC is what we refer to it as. That's an asymmetric training advantage for our ability to train at scope and scale, both U.S. and allied and partner, in order to advance our ability to operate together. And the last is a planning capability called Stormbreaker. And when you pull those four things together, you get to plan, you get to deliver effects, you get to train at a higher level, and you get to do all that with your allies and partners. And when we pull all that together, it equates to decision superiority. Mr. Rob Morrison is here. He's the director of the JMAD cell. And if you haven't met him, you ought to meet Rob. He can help you identify ways in which you can help us, as well as through my J8, Dr. K, who's not here today, but his team is here. General Miles is sitting here from the J6. Dr. Wood is here from the J7. So my team is here, and they can answer all these questions if you have inputs. So there's the solution sets. There's one more thing I want to bring up, because I talked about the allies and partners being an asymmetric capability that no other nation has, or that our adversary nations don't have. But what I know is in this room is also an asymmetric advantage, and that is the innovation, thoughtfulness of our industrial base and our supporting organizations, of which are sitting here today. If you look at those security challenging nations and threats, nowhere can they deliver the innovation of technology into warfighting capabilities anywhere near what this group can do. It is an asymmetric advantage that we need to continue to grow, and we need to deliver. Those capabilities have got to turn into warfighting advantages. So demonstrations are interesting. The delivery of capability is fascinating. And there's nobody better to do it than you. So I'd like to close by saying thank all of you for what you do. My team is here and ready to find ways in which you plug in and help deliver those decision superiority capabilities that we identified. And I challenge all of you to go faster. Okay, I have a sense of urgency like no others. And moving at speed is something that we need to do fast, or as fast as possible, because, well, the title of the conference, right? Accelerating those capabilities. It is exactly what we're trying to do every day. Okay, to the AFCEA team, thanks again for having me. I'm ready to take your questions, so over to you.
Thank you, sir. Before we get into the technical questions, we'd like to ask...
Hey, I didn't say I'm taking technical questions.
the more topical questions, sir. The first question is, what is one life lesson you would like to impart to the ROTC, JROTC, and other AFCEA emerging leaders in the room today?
All right, that has got nothing to do with tech, but this job, I can tell you 44 years ago, when I went into the Naval Academy, I never had any idea I would be standing here today. Matter of fact, if you asked all the people who really know me in this crowd, they would say the same thing. But what's kept me here is the people. All right? I am closer with my military family than with my blood relatives. Now, that's not a bad thing. It's just that I've spent so much time with them. You know, the people that I've operated with, deployed with, lived with, hell, kids have grown up together. That's what kept me here today. Those relationships will take you anywhere and everywhere. It goes with our allies and partners, but bottom line is, number one, I'm still having fun. And I've never had the same job twice in 40 years. So I guess I would kind of say that as what you have to look forward to. All right? You will never find this camaraderie or just pure honesty with people and a satisfaction that I would challenge many people to see if they could emulate it in other industries. What else? Good job on the not technical question.
Thank you, sir. Can you speak a little bit about your perspective on your new Joint Mission Acceleration Directorate and how it interfaces with industry?
Yeah, thanks. Again, Rob Morrison is sitting right in front of me. I just saw him. So this is designed where there are multiple paths for industry to plug in. Number one, you're all directly linked with Dr. K and my J8. So that is certainly a path to come in. But the JMAD was designed not only to synchronize my directorates for the delivery of those 4 capabilities, but it also was designed to synchronize and pull in what's happening and options to plug in from the Washington, D.C. lane. So as a part of that JMAD is the DIU. Doug Beck has a representative. Matter of fact, Rob's deputy director is provided by DIU. So you can come in through the innovation unit. You can come in through CDAO, who's on the JMAD. You can come in through any link you have through the intelligence community. They sit on the JMAD. So I think what the JMAD does for me is synchronize those capabilities and works to get to common ground, integrate architectures, reduce redundancy and duplication, and deliver those effects. But for you, it provides multiple paths to get in with capabilities that can be pushed in, quickly reviewed, evaluated, tested, experimented with, plugged in, and then ultimately work towards the delivery of that capability. So that's the vision of how it works and what it's designed to do.
Thank you, sir. What is your wish list for capabilities and user experience with network modernization and a mobile workforce?
Well, as long as those factors contribute and deliver to what I talked about in the speech, I'm all for it. Again, I don't think I want to go with specific ways or put restraints or constraints on what we're trying to do. We need to deliver that decision superiority. I need to be able to be interoperable and share and operate with our allies and partners. We need to be able to do it consistent every day. We need to do it in a way that's cyber safe and secure. And those are the principles that I would articulate are needed as it applies to your question.
Thank you, sir. The next question from the audience. The Valley of Death seems an ever-present dynamic in many cases where we successfully demonstrate compelling and potentially game-changing, assured, resilient, and reconstitutable C2 systems. How do we beat that back and start fully scaling the most successful R&D experiments into sustainable programs of record?
Yeah, this is a really good question. I guess what I would start with is, if we operate in a way as business as usual, we will fail. The mantra in Indo-PACOM since I got here, and oh, by the way, I took it from PAC Fleet when I was there, is this ability to think, act, and operate differently. All right, we know how to do an ICD, and we know how to, you follow the acquisition process and all that. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have oversight and the acquisition process isn't required. What I'm saying is, with the threats that exist today and what we're watching, we have to move faster. So we have to think, act, and operate differently. The JMAD is a way for INDOPACOM to press on this button to think, act, and operate differently. And in many cases, we articulate constraints and restraints that are not always there. And it's just the way we've always done business. And I'd ask all of you to think about how we do things differently to deliver those capabilities faster. Now, aligned with that, the INDOPACOM experimentation plan is designed for every event to demonstrate more capability, and ultimately we decide when we plug it in and go to full acquisition. But the goal is not the experiment. The goal is the delivery of the capability. So experimentation for experimentation's sake is not the key. And to think about it differently is what I'm asking of you. And you can talk to Dr. Wood, who has built, along with the J7 team, the synchronized set of experimentations that at every event we're either demonstrating more or we're throwing it out. And then ultimately, we deliver a capability. So that's the way we've thought about it at INDOPACOM. There's no one event. If you're showing up with something that we want to look at, we figure out how to demonstrate it, advance it, mature it, and deliver it. Oh, by the way, in as short a period of time as we can. And I got 120 exercises a year. So if you don't think there's places to plug in, you're sadly mistaken. So Dr. Wood's in the crowd. He can help you with that issue if you have some place that you'd like to jump in and demonstrate. And that's also synchronized with our components.
Thank you, sir. What are the challenges in the U.S. system, ITAR, FMS authorities legislation, to integration with our allies, and how do we resolve those?
Yeah, I don't think there's just one challenge. If you talk ITARs, it's legislative, right? There's some congressional language that's a problem. And the team is working very hard, if you look at the AUKUS program right now, to get through that ITAR issue in order for us to build and to deliver high-end submarine capability to the Australians. In FMS and other cases, I think there's a variety of challenges. Sometimes it's agreements with other nations. If you get to multilateral, sometimes it's agreement with more than one nation. But I think what I'd say is we can get past all of these when it's the right thing to do. Look at the F-35 and the distribution of that high-end capability across the globe with like-minded partners. So what I would say is all of these are challenges. They are not insurmountable challenges. So find the challenge, identify it, and I'm pretty sure when it makes sense we can work through it, whether it's legislative, policy, agreement, or other.
Next question, sir. How are capabilities identified by JMAD adopted and procured by SysComs and programs of record? Will COCOMs be afforded the latitude and funding to buy disruptive, innovative solutions at scale?
So as you know, in the system, I have limited funds, as well do my geographic combatant commander counterparts. What we are trying to do in JMAD is through experimentation and demonstration, I am looking to get to a prototype of the delivery of capability. And in our integration with the Department of Defense, build a plant, Ms. Heidi Shue and the OSD staff, ultimately to the deputy and the secretary, when that prototype demonstrates the capabilities that we're shooting at, we will work the transition aspect of it. So things are acquired through service channels and in some cases the Fifth Estate, right? But the support of the secretary and the deputy as it applies to JFN, MPE, PIMTEC, and Stormbreaker are evident and clear. And if we're able to do what we've described and have put on the wall as a target, I'm pretty confident it will follow with the acquisition and sustainment funding required.
Thank you, sir. We have two more questions for you. First one, process speed is, and this is related to your last answer, process speed is critical to meet your objective. What's JMAD's role and authority to accelerate the acquisition process?
It's in the name is accelerate. That is the design, to take all of the capabilities, find the best of breed, plug it in, and deliver. So the overall role is to accelerate inside of my headquarters. Now, the authority, for those former military, right, there's OPCON. Does everybody know what OPCON is? There's TACON. So operational control, tactical control. I have CHOCON of Rob Morrison. That's the authority. All kidding aside, we've adjusted my battle rhythm to maximize the effectiveness here. Once a week, they're coming into me, along with Doug Beck's team, and laying out where we are, what barriers have we found, where have we found holes and seams, and what are the recommendations to move it forward. So if you don't think this is important, you can look at my schedule. And it's not a meeting for meeting's sake. It's a meeting to deliver outcomes and move this ball forward. And oh, by the way, I'm the guy in some cases that has to knock down those authority barriers and some of the, this is how we've always done it thought. So again, that's the authority. It's inside of my headquarters. It's supported by the great work at OSD, the Deputy Secretary and her team. And I think we have a way forward here. It just seemed like the right thing to do at the time, and I think it's getting traction.
Thank you, sir. We do have time for one more question, and I would like to ask our audience please to remain seated after the Admiral has completed his answer. We do have some final remarks and presentations following his remarks. The final question for you, sir. Will Navy beat Army this year?
Oh, that's a real question? Of course. I'll see everybody at the bar. First, number one, it'll be a great game. Number two, let me go off stage again by thanking the AFCEA team. I want to thank all of you for what you do and your contribution. I hope I put some specific, dedicated targets on the wall of where you can be helpful. I thank all of you as patriots to continue to support our military. I want to recognize the ROTC teams that are here. I constantly am encouraged by the young folk that have decided to consider a future in uniform. As I, in not too distant future, get ready to take mine off, I will sleep soundly knowing that we've passed the reins over to an amazing set of young people to take the reins and defend our nation. And the last thing I would say is, hey, when we leave here today, let's remember all the things that you do. There are soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, Guardians, that as we sit here and have this nice lunch, are out deployed protecting our freedoms and our way of life, okay? I've never forgotten about it for 40 years, having been on the end of the tip of the spear, and it's critical that we never forget the sacrifices that they and their families make for us and our nation. So thank you very much for letting me come today.
Thank you, sir. Please welcome Brigadier General Paul Fredenberg, U.S. Army, retired, to the stage.
Admiral Aquilino, on behalf of AFCEA International and AFCEA Hawaii, thanks for being with us here today. It's important that we spend time together and articulate, and you have highlighted the challenges that we have out here and the threats in this region. You articulated your priorities to prevent conflict and be ready to fight and win. And you didn't just give us the problem, but you gave us the solution. And that was achieve joint and combined interoperability and accelerate decision superiority. And that's what we all need to get after now. As a thank you, AFCEA is going to make a donation on your behalf to the Friends of the Windward Wounded Warriors. And I want to present you the rare and coveted 38th TechNet Indo-Pacific coin. And that's not all. I have the 70th anniversary edition coin for our AFCEA chapter in Hawaii. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Okay, if it's at all possible, I'd ask that you make that donation not from me, but from the members of INDOPACOM. Would be thankful. And I will now give you the coveted INDOPACOM coin. And again, I'm honored. If I see it on eBay, I'm coming to find you.
Okay, team, everyone, unfortunately, it's time to say aloha. And on behalf of AFCEA International and the Hawaii chapter, we certainly appreciate you joining us here this week as we explored opportunities and discussed ways to accelerate Indo-Pacific innovation. And we hope this exchange has been very valuable to all of you because this is valuable to our nation. Innovation is vital for both the United States and our allies as we work towards a vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Now, a little bit of history. AFCEA was founded after World War II. It was founded by visionaries who recognized the hidden strength and the key role that industry played in defeating fascist nations that threatened the values of freedom-loving people everywhere. And they sought to keep that government, industry, and academia relationship alive and strong, and that's what we do today. We're facing global threats out there today. We just learned about these, and we've talked about them this week. I would argue that these relationships are more important than ever, and especially in the cyber and the digital domain. We're in an age of global competition, and I believe that technology is at the core of that competition. We talked about it today, but there are authoritarian regimes out there that have a much different vision for the world. And we must join together like-minded allies and partners, and we need to win this competition. And so that's why we are happy to partner with our AFCEA Hawaii chapter to put on this important event. This is the largest event of its kind in the Pacific Rim. So a giant mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much to all of the AFCEA Hawaii members and the amazing 200-strong volunteer force that turns out every year to support this event. A couple of call-outs. Just want to thank, for your tremendous leadership, the chapter president, Brandon Lester. Thank you very much. Our regional vice president, Ed Riglewitz. I think he's here somewhere. Thank you, Ed. And especially to these two individuals, our TechNet director, Cynthia Pacheco. She does an amazing job year in, year out. Thank you, Cynthia. And to coordinate all those volunteers, Yogi Fong has been involved in this program for a long time. Now, as you all know, AFCEA is the association for professionals in the cyber, IT, communications, and intelligence world. And they want to serve those who serve. So active chapters, such as the one here in Hawaii, really help AFCEA reach their goals and serve that global security community. And I also want you to know that AFCEA Hawaii gives back to its community as well as throughout the state of Hawaii. They give many scholarships and teacher grants to deserving students and educators in the STEM field to encourage our next generation to get engaged in STEM. And to learn more about them and to donate to this scholarship fund, please visit www.afceahawaii.org. Earlier this year, the island of Maui and its community members experienced devastating losses as a result of the fires in Lahaina and Kula. And our hearts go out to all those who were impacted by these wildfires. AFCEA Hawaii has established a relief fund which will provide grants and scholarships for teachers and students in Lahaina schools. So please visit our conference homepage or scan the QR code that they may be able to put up on the screens here for more information on how to contribute to that worthy cause. I also need to thank our industry partners that are here today. Without your support at these events, it would not happen. And so for the companies who's sponsored or those that exhibited, and especially those that are getting after innovation and helping us solve these challenging problems, we thank you and appreciate you being here this week, taking part in these discussions. And if you're not a member of AFCEA yet, think about this. In the shadow of global competition and the threats that we talked about, it's more important than ever that you become part of the hidden strength that's connecting the people, the ideas, and the solutions across the military, government, academic, and industry to meet our national security requirements. I encourage you all to go online, www.afcea.org, get plugged in, and be part of the solution. And while you're doing that, I ask you to take a look at our upcoming event schedule. In particular, I'd suggest TechNet Transatlantic. It's our inaugural event in Frankfurt, Germany, 6th through 7 December of 2023, just a few weeks from now. And then to continue from a maritime component discussion, we will be at West the 13th through the 15th of February in San Diego. And now, I will tell you, the attendance here has been overwhelming. People are getting after this challenging problem set. We have broken every record that we have set. We had over 4,000 attendees in this event this year. So starting next year, TechNet Indo-Pacific is going to move to the Hawaiian Convention Center. We cannot fit. We have used every space in this facility, and we don't have enough room. We have multiple industry partners that can't be here because we didn't have space for them. So we will see you at the Hawaii Convention Center next year between the 22nd and the 24th of October. This space is going to better allow us to meet the needs of our partners in the region as we expand the collaboration and increase our acceleration to adopt and integrate emerging technology to meet our national security needs. And finally, I want to take one last opportunity to recognize the staff here at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. We put on events in many cities around the world, but when you come here, it's different. It's different because you're really welcomed here as Ohana. And at this time, if you could please join me in welcoming some very special members of our Ohana to the stage. And if I could ask So this is the Hilton banquet team, and I wanted to take this moment because this is an incredible team led by Hallie Albertson, Doran Sinar, Mark Gonzalez, Albert Raphael, and Bert Charlton. They have taken such good care of us for the last 10 years, and we feel so fortunate to have worked with them, and we know all of you have experienced their incredible hospitality. They have been a huge part of the growth and the reason behind why this conference has been so successful, because they have taken care of you at every step. And so please join me in giving them one more round of applause for their incredible hospitality over this last 10 years. Now, we are thanking them for this decade of partnership, for being such a tremendous host at TechNet Indo-Pacific. But I want to be clear, this partnership is not ending. We look forward to the Hilton's continuing hospitality as they will be the headquarters hotel for TechNet Indo-Pacific in 2024 and beyond. So again, everyone, mahalo for attending this week, safe travels, and we'll see you again very soon. And before you all get up, I would ask you to do me one more favor. I need all the ROTC and all the JROTC students to stand up right now, please. I need you to move over to the stage left immediately before everybody gets up. Please give them a chance to get through the crowd. They're going to come over here to take a photo. So please give them an opportunity before everybody leaves. Again, we will see you all soon. Aloha, thank you, mahalo, and safe travels.